Hello, I'm Amy Miller from the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Virginia is located on the East Coast of the United States. Our Department of Agriculture has an office dedicated to international marketing. In addition to its staff based in Virginia, the Office of International Marketing also has 6 trade representatives located in Canada, China, Europe, India, Latin America, and Southeast Asia. These trade representatives monitor agricultural markets within their region to identify trade opportunities for Virginia companies. They conduct research, develop trade leads, and assist in the planning of activities such as trade shows and buyers' missions. Virginia's East Coast location and advanced infrastructure enable companies to get products to market quickly. Virginia's integrated transportation system of highways, railroads, airports, and seaports provide logistical advantages for companies in every industry and ease the coordination of export logistics. We have the 3rd largest deepwater port on the East Coast, more than 3,000 miles of railroad, and several interstate highways and international airports. This next slide shows U.S. agricultural and forestry product exports to Vietnam. The U.S. exported more than $3.7 billion in agricultural and forestry products to Vietnam in 2020. Cotton, soybeans, and dried distillers grains were the top products exported. This next slide will take a look at Virginia agricultural and forestry exports to Vietnam. Virginia exported more than $110 million in agricultural goods. Lumber, soybeans, and tobacco were the top products exported in 2020. More than 700,000 head of beef cattle and 75,000 head of dairy cattle call Virginia home. Live cattle and feed-related exports play an important role in Virginia agriculture and our economy. Several animal health product companies and commodity and feed additive exporters are based in Virginia. In 2020, Virginia exported $11.6 million in live cattle exports and $31.6 million in animal feed product exports. TK Exports, the largest U.S. exporter of breeding animals, is based in Virginia and sources the best cattle from across the state and country for export. I will introduce you to Gerardo Quasdorf with TK Exports, who will discuss their business.
This is Gerardo Quasdorf. I'm from TK Export. I'm very happy and pleased to be today addressing our business, our opportunities to work with people in Vietnam. TK Export, as my colleague Amy said, is a company, livestock company located in Virginia. We export high-quality livestock genetics, and we have managed successful projects on every continent worldwide. The leader of our company is Gordon Thornhill, with more than 40 years of experience in exporting livestock genetics. He has developed livestock markets throughout the world and managed shipments to more than 55 countries. TK Export is an export management serving the world, is supported by a very competitive TK Export team. The animal supply where we get our animals, we team with our partners and suppliers throughout the USA to provide quality animals. We try to get animals from large dairies in order to prevent diseases and avoid commingle. This is very important when we export genetics from the United States, is to get the animals from few herds, large herds with similar management. The export team also consists of several veterinarians and at least 4 retainers. These individuals are in charge of all the selection and the health documents of these animals, along with traveling with the cattle to the destination countries. We also have some office people and client relationship, public relations, field staff in charge of selection of the animals, and technical assistance. The technical assistance is guided by TK Agritech, which is a branch of TK Export. we care about the pre-sale, during sale, and after sale of any project. This is led by myself and Frank Graves. So TK Export is an export management serving the world. We do end-to-end client services. What it means is we select the animals, we put them together in quarantine facilities, we do all the papers and health, we assure them that they're healthy and eligible, and then we make all the arrangements so the animals arrive safe and sound at the destination. Along with that, we provide technical assistance, so we have access to the network of specialists, some of them located in universities, institutes, or qualified expert dairy farmers and beef farmers. They can provide all the information. We also have access to banks, domestic international shipping companies, and transportations and nutrition companies. In Virginia, for example, there are many companies that are in charge of nutrition and and they can also provide added value to the export of the cattle. Here you can see the TK export, a little bit of our export history. I like to point out Vietnam, 2016, 2017, we exported 2 shipments to Vietnam on high value red Brahma bulls. We worked together with Texas, Virginia and Texas worked together on that occasion also. And dairy cattle, we work with several states that provided those animals along with Virginia, Pennsylvania, and other countries in the West Coast. So to summarize a little bit, is TK Export, our business is in the breeding cattle, in the replacement cattle, developing genetic foundations for dairy and beef production. That's our main source of cooperation and projects and strengths that we have to offer to Vietnam. I would like to touch a little bit now on an issue that will be important to our customers in Vietnam, which is the new way how importing dairy breeding cattle from the United States. In 2013, a testing called Genomic Testing was implemented, which is a tool for dairy producers and beef producers to select their animals. That genomic testing has changed the management decision and how we select the animals. So the U.S. dairy production today is very organized. Advanced planning is necessary to receive the maximum return for imported cattle. These genomic test results are used to plan the animal's final usage within U.S. herds. Once we know this information, the herds with known genetic levels, which are used to select their replacements. Those decisions are made within the first 6 months of the age of the animal. That's a very important point when you try to import genetics from the United States right now, that you need to allow us to select the animals in younger age. At 6 months of age, more or less, most of the animals will be selected by the breeder, by the supplier, and a decision will be made if to be bred with a dairy semen or a beef semen. Animals at that time are committed to re-enter the herd or to be sold. Due to the high cost of feed and cash outlay, the animals are not going back to the herd, are sold. And those are the animals that will be available for Vietnam for them to select from. Due to this management decision, potential buyers must act earlier to find suitable animals. Therefore, we encourage Vietnamese buyers to contracts must be reached or made 120 days in advance so the animals can be acquired and be eligible promptly and healthy. The other aspect that we need to put in consideration is due to genomic testing is the status of breeding cattle female population in the United States. More than 80% of the U.S. dairy cattle, cows, and heifers are not enrolled with a breed association. These animals technically were not qualified for many countries in the world, and among them Vietnam. Today, with genomic testing, this is changed because now we can know and predict the performance of the animal and provide opportunity to select and breed any heifer eligible for export. We need to understand that most female cattle data in the United States is 1 to 3 generations, and most of these are available on farm record. So the genomic testing or the measurement of DNA or set of genes is very important to determine who the animal is and how we can predict that performance. Genomic testing also will allow to select animals that are appropriate for different type of climates. So along with cow comfort management systems, these cattle, Holstein cattle or Jersey cattle, or any cattle from the United States, will perform well under different climates once we know the genetic part described by genomic and the appropriate cow comfort management. So, what are the factors influencing eligibility of the cattle for export from the United States? The first point is the traditional one, the animal health requirement. These are the list of diseases that an exporting country needs to address to make the cattle eligible for export to Vietnam. The more requirements you put, the more difficult it is to get animals from a particular exporting country. The other aspect is genetic requirement or genetic specification. Those are the production traits with economic value for the buyer the cattle need to meet to become eligible for export. And here, genomic testing is again playing a key role for us to provide the best animals, since we will know exactly what kind of performance these animals can provide to you as a customers in Vietnam. So what are the options for importing heifers now that we do have genomic testing, selecting those animals at 6 months? If you decide to import open or non-pregnant heifers, it will not be a problem because the animals will be selected around 6 to 12 months. Genomic testing will be provided for agreement with the buyer, and it's been known that it's the most efficient and cost-effective way to import high-quality genetics. This is by cargo plane or by boat. And the buyer, the Vietnamese buyer, has the option to breed them with a heat-tolerant bulls, which are available in the United States. The semen can be exported also to Vietnam. If you decided to go for pregnant heifers, the issue is going to be a little more different. Now we need to contract well in advance, at least 120 days in advance, so we can contract these animals non-pregnant and breed them with dairy semen. We know countries like Vietnam will not accept a dairy heifer that is bred with a beef semen. So we need to do this in advance, and we need to agree with the buyer well in advance, at least 120 days, so we can select these animals appropriately. The animals will be genomic tested, and of course will require a contract agreement with a minimum 4 months in advance. And the animals will be purchased around 8 to 11 months and breed them according to the buyer's specifications, around a year to 13 months old. In summary, most of the dairy heifers in the United States are available but are not enrolled with a breed association. So genomic testing will be key to determine the performance of those animals. You may import, if you're a traditional breeder, a blend of registered and non-registered animal. When they say registered, these are the animals that enroll in a breed association. Cattle with genomic information will be available for export. It will be very valuable for you to make the decisions at the time of the importation. We encourage you to use genomic information as the basis for your selection and not so much put emphasis on the certificate of a breed association, which is based more on quantitative information. Genomic information is based on what the animal is and not what we think it is. Most of the U.S. cattle breeds will perform well in hot climate, giving them the appropriate cow comfort management and all the feedings that it will need. TK Export will be with you all the way from the beginning to the end to see that your purchase from the United States will be successful, fruitful, and positive. We're here to meet your needs. Thank you very much.